How's the response to last Friday night been from yourself, the staff and the players?
As you would expect, we knew it would be difficult, as in the Friday night, but again, players have had a couple of days, Saturday and Sunday we'd given them that well-earned break for how hard they've been working for their exertions, and they've been top draw. They've been great again since Monday. We've worked hard, really looking and focusing in on the game on Saturday. The fact that Dundee United played on Tuesday, obviously, then we factor that into it and making sure that we've got the most up-to-date version of what they're doing. Their team wasn't changed, they're playing a similar way, so yeah, the focus has been great, and the quality and application on the pitch has been first class, and the mood and the body language is what I would expect it to be. So no, I don't envisage any hangovers for two kind of massive blows that we've faced in the last two games, and it's about working hard to try and come out the other side of that, to make sure that you change your fortunes. I say change your fortunes, it's not so much that we feel that we need to change loads, it's just that we probably feel we need to come out the right side of a decision, maybe a break of the ball, a little bit of luck, because we don't feel we're too far away.
There's been a lot of talk about team bonding exercises, guys look to respond to difficult results. When you've had sort of two body blows like you had in the last two games, with the way that the games have finished, have you tried to do anything like that just to try and gee up spirits?
Not at all. I think anybody that comes about the place, I do agree on all of that kind of stuff that comes in so many formats. Don't really want to get involved in the debate. I think the guys that have been asked this question a lot have answered it very, very well. Again, we try and go down the mass hysteria route, and everybody's got an opinion on what you should and shouldn't be doing. There's a million ways you can do it, and one of the ways that I would suggest that we've done it is just simply by being here at the football club, by being on the pitch, sitting eating together. The lads are very, very comfortable in their environment. I always talk about I never go in there. I don't go into the dressing room. It's always been the way I've worked until the match day. But they've got various activities that a bit of table tennis, they throw some darts in between just to have that light-hearted mood and be able to bring yourself back down to a level and spend a wee bit of time with your mates. And we've kind of got two categories here at the football club. We've got guys that stay here, local, and there's a really close-knit group, and a lot of them are new faces and new lads that you can see that are gelling really well, and we've got lads that stay slightly further afield but outside Kilmarnock, so you've got your car schools and all that type of stuff as well. So I suppose a lot of that's the kind of old school side of it, but that's not to say that we wouldn't drop that in at some point throughout the course of the season, as virtually every single club does. I think back in the day, it was always a few beers with your teammates, various different things like that, but safe to say over the last few years I've tried a number of different ways, but it's not something we feel is necessary at this point.
I mean, I suppose when you have the two sort of heartbreaking results that you did and the way that they finished, I mean, you can get there's a tendency to maybe overreact, but then I'm looking through the league, I mean, 5-6 games in, and there's still 9 teams that have yet to get a win. I mean, it's still so early for everybody, isn't it? You can just need to sort of maintain that level-headedness.
Yeah, just my big thing just now is just no dramatising anything. I think we would have a drama in our hands if we've not been competitive. You look at all the games we've played, we've been incredibly competitive. We have scored goals, we have had a clean sheet in there, etc, etc. So I think sometimes the drama starts to escalate when things that are staring you in the face aren't working, aren't functioning properly, but we're not even close to that. I think we've lost one game in 90 minutes in 11, so again, it's how you want to paint these stats and statistics and everything else. So from where we started with a lot of new players, a lot of change here at the football club, we feel as if we have made that good start, but we're also in the knowledge that we want to try and convert as much of that into 3 points.
Within the last two games, certainly with substitutes, we've seen you switch from a back three to a back four with typically Marley coming on. Is that something that you've liked the look of in terms of how the team's played when that's happened in game, and would you consider that from the start of a match?
No, I think I've got a really definitive base which I work from, and obviously I'm not going to divulge all of that. The players, I believe, have seriously bought into it. We do work with pitch maps and plans and game models and all of that type of stuff, and I'm conscious in the modern day that you need to have that, because there has to be a plan, there needs to be a basis from what you work from, but I do I have an initial presentation to the players, which is, this is what it's going to be. We work exceptionally hard in pre-season, and you still don't think we've seen the best of that, still think we'll get better at it through time, but one of the key points that I put in there to the players is that we have to be versatile, we have to be a team for all seasons. And the reason why I say that is, in stages of games, different opposition, different stages of the season, whether you're flying high, whether you're desperately looking to get a win or whatever might come there. If I just sit with this plan A all the time, then I think I'm being naive. People will see this different, by the way, this isn't a criticism of anybody, but I also feel that I'm being a little bit lazy if I just go that one way and I stick to it and I never change from it. We have to be versatile, but they also have to understand what that versatility looks like. It's not just by ripping things up and throwing players onto the pitch. We threw caution to the wind probably a little bit in both games, especially the Celtic game, where you get level and everyone can see that we're all out to try and win it. But as I say, for me, everything has to have a bit of method, everything has to have that what if moment in it, and that's kind of how I've worked. So as much as you talk about back fours, back fives, whatever, back three, if you watch a lot of the games as well, it kind of changes as the game's developing, just naturally. I think sometimes we get lost in a number of defenders and a number of midfielders, but I think most coaches and managers will tell you if we're functioning well, that should really change as the game's going on, whether we're attacking, whether we're defending. Moments of the game, it's chopping and changing all the time. But to go back to your question, I would consider playing any way I feel is necessary to win a game of football, but as I say, it has to suit the players that I've got in the building.
And just on the players, is there anyone back for this weekend in terms of Brad? I know Ben obviously came on off the bench, and Jamie Brandon as well, among others. Yeah,
so we had a B team game during the week, and a couple of the lads got minutes within that, the likes of Eddie Beach and Ben and Scott Tiffany managed to get 45 minutes within that game as well, which was great. Brad's been back training, so there's a few guys pushing towards the squad. I think I said this last week, how many minutes they'll get, whether that's a start or on the bench, but we've got another full session today, really gearing up towards Dundee United, so we'll start to learn a wee bit more about the levels of the players throughout the course of the morning.
How frustrating has it been to deal with so many injuries, especially so early, when obviously you've been trying to find like that sort of settled team and way of playing, and you've not ideally really had that?
I'm used to it. I think modern football, there does seem to be more injuries than what there ever has been. The reason for that, I think I would be a wealthy man if I could put my finger on that and tell you exactly the reason for that. The medical staff here are fantastic, sports scientists, unbelievable, really good at their job. So sometimes you strip the layers back and you say it's maybe something we're doing. Look around world football, not just Scottish football, the amount of injuries there are. We've been a bit unfortunate since the start of the season with the number that we've had, but always we're trying to do things in a kind of smart way where we're not loading the players up too much, we're not exposing them to injuries. So I hope that this has been our worst spell for injuries, but who knows. I think that all you ever can do is make sure that you're focused on the players that are available to you, not to cast the other ones aside. We make sure we're getting them back to fitness as quick as we can, but I can only focus on the guys that I've got available, and speaking through the start of the season, they've given us a lot since I first took over.
Despite those injuries, you seem to have a strong bench, and you look at your likes of Bruce Anderson and Murray Watkins coming on the last Friday as well. You feel you've got really good options, especially up front in particular, with the way you can change things and get that extra energy or different kind of dimension in the game.
Yeah, that's why we build a squad. I think I was asked the question, round about the transfer window, when people are mentioning you're seeing certain players starting and you've still got these other guys on the bench. It's because, and I go back to it, that it's a long hard season, injuries, suspensions, loss of form. You need to be able to have a few other options up your sleeve, which we do, but I want to give myself a really difficult challenge, which is everybody's fit, and when we have everybody fit here, I think everybody would see that there's going to be one or two really good players missing out, maybe not starting, maybe even one or two that aren't able to go on the bench, because I think what we've had as well is think sometimes natural order people would maybe suggest that a like say a Ben Brannan or an Ethan Brown might be the easy ones to miss out in squads, etc. But these lads have pitched themselves forward and done so well. So that's where I come back to this bit of trying to give some younger players an opportunity. Once they get an opportunity, they don't just come out because of the younger players, and we've got more experienced guys coming back to fitness. We pick it as in what you've done, what you've been able to show, and simply whether I trust you and whether I think you can do a job. So maybe from where I started, and maybe some Kilmarnock fans and people around about Scottish football maybe wouldn't have envisaged that like Ethan Brown or Ben Brannan, as I say, would start for us and play as many minutes as they have done. But that probably gives you another bigger challenge with some of your experienced guys. But again, it's one that I relish and I enjoy. We've probably had the emergency a couple of players at an early stage that we maybe didn't think would have been the case.
How's Kyle McInness been since last week? Obviously, when just one player misses in the penalties, it's tough on them. I think if you had to pick him up.
No, not at all. And I got straight to him in the dressing room after it. I got to him in the pitch and got to him in the dressing room. A few of the players had beaten me to that. But for anybody that knows Kyle, he's such a strong character, really strong character. He just spoke about being so confident going up to take the penalty. He was surprised that he missed it or it was saved. I thought he struck the ball well enough. And the goalkeeper guessed the right side. So I did have a wee talk to the players before the penalty shootout just about stepping up and being fully confident, and what happens at that stage. I think the worst thing you can do is go up with apprehension. He didn't. If you watch him, he was the quickest one to go and take his penalty, which I personally like. I'm not a huge fan of the slow walk and the 6 steps back and 2 to the side and all that kind of stuff, and the stagger step. I'm just not I've never been a huge fan of that. So I quite enjoyed the way that he approached it. So certainly no complaints from myself. But as I say, when you see him, he's been back out training this week. He's very headstrong, based on a number of serious injuries that he's had throughout his career. I think that really can galvanise you when you realise some of the challenges that you've faced in your career. So I've got no concerns about him whatsoever.
Just on United, goal checks, top scorer in the league. I think 4 of his 5 goals have come from set pieces. How much of that is that something you need to be concerned about?
Yeah, how much you can control it is another thing. When you talk about set plays, you're right, so things that we look at, but he's a good player in open play as well. There's a reason why he's the top goal scorer at this stage, the reason why he's caught people's eye. We've already played against Dundee United, we've seen that ourselves first hand. But no, we do. You can't specifically say that that's what the game plan's going to hinge on. Dundee United, for me, have got a number of threats. They're a team that's playing well. They're a team that has brought in some real good talent into their ranks. So if we just focused on that one particular thing, I think we'd miss 5, 6, 7 other aspects where they can really hurt you within the game. So again, it goes back to being well versed, and we think we will be that come Saturday.
Greg Kiltie came into midfield last week and kind of peeling off to the left. How do you think he did? It obviously looked like he kind of showed exactly what he can do, and he's maybe not had the full chance to do that since he arrived back in the summer. Yeah, no, I think Greg was excellent in the game. We were trying to keep him on the pitch as long as we could because we felt he was so influential. I think if you watch probably 10 or 15 minutes before he actually comes off, you can see that he's starting to fatigue and cramp up a little bit. But again, I loved his answer when I asked him if he was alright, and he told me he could still run. That's how simple that used to be. I never used to speak about posterior chains and all that different type of stuff that I have no knowledge of. I asked him if he was alright, and he told me he could still run, so he stayed on the pitch for as long as he could. Tells you something about his character. He's been first class. You speak about opportunity and playing. There have been a number of guys that have been doing well, so again it becomes that fight to get into the team. But at no point is he sulked, at no point has he felt sorry for himself. And again, for me, I talk about a brilliant example to the rest of the group, because if one of the guys can act like that, then everybody, in my opinion, can act like that. There'll be disappointment in not playing, but that's how you answer that disappointment, by when your opportunity comes, play well, which I thought he was excellent. I thought he was really good in the game. Possibly could have had a goal within it. I think he feels that he done everything he could with the early opportunity that he had in the game, but no, I'm not surprised. He was one of our first signings for a reason, because we believe he's somebody that can contribute here.
Just on Dundee United away, Stuart, over the last kind of couple of seasons, the away form has been pretty poor for Kilmarnock. What do you put that down to? Is it a mindset thing? Is it just the way you can set up away from home? Like, how important do you see away form being this season?
Yeah, listen, I think it's obviously something I looked at when I came into the football club. It was something that was discussed way back at the end of May, but there's never a magic wand in this. Probably I can only give you the way that my mind works, is that sometimes the game's going to feel different here than it does away from home, and again, we practice that way. So when we go to an away fixture, it doesn't mean to say that we're going to work the exact same way during the week. We'll work slightly different. We'll maybe try and change the mindset. There'll be a few tweaks and changes to your game plan, because it is away from home and you're playing against a team that's obviously doing well. Dundee United 2-0 victory through the week there, so you're playing against a team full of confidence. So I do believe in those slight alterations during the week to try and get to that game. As I keep saying, I'm not going to give you exactly what that is and how that's going to look, but it's been a different preparation from it was to Celtic, different preparation from it was to the cup game against St Mirren, and that's how I've always worked. Whether that changes that statistic, that form, but it's certainly something I believe in, and it's certainly something I think can get us some more points on the road.
Well, in the last 2 away games, Kilmarnock came from behind, whether that be 2-0 down against Hibs or 2-1 against Motherwell. Are you looking to get in the front foot and hold on to a lead?
You almost said we there, didn't you? Absolutely. I think you always want to start games of football well. We have done at times. I think you look at the first game of the season against Livingston, we obviously get our noses in front. So for us, I think the game statistically will be easier if you get yourself in front, but you're playing against good players. I think I was doing my wee crossover yesterday and I was looking at the Ryder Cup, and they talk about the percentages of wins that you get when you get your nose in front, that first hole and all that sort of stuff. So it is transferable, isn't it? A lot of these things are in sport, so we always go out with the mindset of trying to be the team that starts well. We always go out with the mindset of trying to score the first goal, and Saturday will be no different.
You'll be happier watching the last day of the Ryder Cup if you pick up 3 points on Saturday.
Absolutely. I think we'll all be settled in and camped in watching every shot on the Sunday. Look forward to it.